Hey, social media family, can you all hear me? Being of any subscribers to that being of my own YouTube social media channel, as well as chat room or comment section, you know. So I am saying and asking informal questions of you all. Yes, in my social media family of not only any subscribers or followers, I have said, but then likewise as well, all the same. Excuse pardon, forgive me for butchering the English language of the American dialect of some such qualities and quantities with all of its grammatical usages. Then, nevertheless, as I think of it with that in my mind's intentions to try to backtrack here, reasonable and on purpose is being, once I can go on to following to continue from where I went, let my person at last left off, so I can finish up as a complete a former previous prior line of thought in that same sense of word, and all the while keeping my voice at a reasonable decibel level, seeing where I'm at on atmosphere for its premises properties for facility, being as it is of one of the branch libraries, been which is about to close in a little while. So I'm kind of like speed dialing this present social media content of a video, broadcast, or whatever anybody wants to make of it. Yes. So I'm greeting you all, and as I will address the present content of it, some as such, to your persons among yourselves and my social media family, not only of any subscribers, but any visitors to that being the same of the said in question and form brief requirements and for my own social media, YouTube channel, and on chat rooms or comment section. See where I'm at. Like the Chicago branch line as it is for the south of the city. But that is some such a good moment in time where I was upon the premises of properties for a facility, regardless of whether it was public or private, or a bookstore within the business and school hub of our fair city, as we have it of the metropolis, for that being which is within the Midwest territory, for the continental United States of America, within city limits of what is commonly called and known as officially the city of metropolitan Chicago, Illinois, USA, and where I was at a bookstore, and where I had encountered what would be considered as more or less a conflict of interest, though nothing had happened from there, but it may as well, in due regard in reference to, as it is so far the content of this present social media broadcast of video is regarding or in reference to, you know, certain security guards confusing me with that being the likes of one of the riffraff, or the rank and file, the criminal elements, though they did not bring it back to me in a much more obvious way, but I kind of get the negative, bad vibes, where I may have to state my grievances as and complain to their superiors sometime in the near future, just in case they may ever encounter me personally in a much more obvious kind of way, because I, for one, am not a shoplifter either, or nor am I one of the riffraff characters that rank and file the criminal elements otherwise of some or such other sorcerer types. But anyway, I felt it was pressing on my heart and mind to make this particular social media broadcast of a video, regardless of whether or not I could have possibly had composed or produced one in times past. I can't exactly remember, but there's really no harm in producing a second one, to be considered as some kind of a series. So that's what this particular content for a social media broadcast or video is dealing with, involving that of, some sort of such type of what would be considered as racial profiling. Or that or some such time. I only have so much time to, broadcast. And because this library is about to close, I usually would broadcast so far as the average video for about half an hour. And every now and then, sometimes the entirety of the content of a social media broadcast, a video for a time frame period could possibly be, lesser than that, much shorter than half an hour, and sometimes it's longer. And for this, give more time. I'm just trying to record as much as possible before I have to close out. And I'm saying, see where I'm at. This is my chair. Otherwise, for a more scenic view of this particular social media broadcast. Yes, I will go into the explanation as to what exactly happened as I go so I was minding my own business and paying a visit to this one bookstore within the downtown vicinity area, which is one of my frequent hunts, as they say, In other words, somewhere where I frequently attend, for whatever reason or purposes, for business and for pleasure, but on a positive note and in a legit legal kind of way. And all of a sudden, this one security guard, once again, he's giving me the evil eye, for the bookstore right across the street from the downtown city branch main library, for the one that was named after our late historical black mayor of the city of Chicago. Well, I'm saying not president of the USA. Do bear with me because I'm pressing for time before this library closes. This is on the further south side. But anyway, though, so this one security guard, he has a habit of following me around in the bookstore for the one across the street from the main library that supersedes all the different branches of the other libraries. It has authoritative jurisdiction over the other branch libraries throughout the city. And I don't do anything. I just go in there and I shop. If I have a mind, intentions to do so at some given moment in time, depending on what my money could possibly be looking at some given moment in time, or another, then I would make a purchase of, well, usually mainly or mostly on a regular basis, some kind of book, it could, like I say, how you say, parlay with of what is interest to me, be it for business or for pleasure, on a positive note of interest, but that being which would be legit as in legal, And this one security guard, I don't know what's his problem, and he's another male of my own ethnicity or racial makeup, although I don't consider myself as being of any one race. I'm a mixed breed, but I don't consider myself to be termed as a non-white person or a white person for that matter, because I'm a mixed breed, right? I just consider myself as an American, American citizen, and not to mention some of this other. But anyway, you know, he takes it upon himself as a brother of the same race that I'm supposed to be associated with, although I don't go about putting that on a job application or anything like that. And it's like he's attempting to impress his white superiors, Can I get you to think about something else, doesn't it? So far as concerning the most recent racial profiling of excessive force, that was exhibited by certain police officers for my own race of people, It was about practically half a dozen of five, And there was a white guy. He was not charged, but, you know, the five black officers, and speaking on those matters before I get back to the original topic of discussion, they were thrown up under the bus because no white police officer or white cop was going to come to defend them, then because they're of a different race, they don't have white privilege. And so it's like this one security guard, he's attempting to impress his white superiors by following me around in the bookstore. I'm like, seriously though? So I decided to confront him today, but not in a way where I would be considered as, how they say, NWA, Negro with attitude, to put it like that. So I said, how you doing, sir? He didn't say anything from there. I guess it shook him at his very foundation, because he may have expected me to go off at the mouth. I mean, if I want to go off at the mouth, I do that with his superiors, his supervisors, to let them know this person, that person, that. I don't appreciate him treating me like I'm a common thug or something, practically, not possibly altogether. Then it goes on. Well, excuse my language, Paul, my French, and as I played the part of devil's advocate, lesser two evils, being a prodigal son, with the worst two evils is any of those closet devil worshippers who make up the majority of most churchgoers or whatever religious denomination. But this dickhead or prick is really getting out of pocket with the attitude following me around in the bookstore. And like I said, I don't appreciate it because I don't go in there to steal anything, regardless of how I'm now living in one of the worst vicinity area neighborhood communities of the black metropolis. Yes, a much more poverty stricken and crime ridden one after the damn hell of another black brother had flipped the script on me for how many times I complained about him to the management as well as to the police after I went through all the proper policies and the procedures of protocol. Whereas from there, he out of resentment retaliated by convincing the management to give me the very paperwork, very paperwork documents or walking paper. That is what I meant to say. I'm not well versed in English. Sorry if I butchered the English language American dialect at the moment. But anyway, he convinced the management of the building, real estate representative personnel, of the administrators to give me the walking papers that he should have received, something similar to an eviction notice, being of a non-renewal of apartment rental lease agreement document. And so from there on short notice, this is why whatever into it, I have had to, reconsider moving into a black metropolis to become a resident or tenant to pay annual monthly rent, utilities, and etc., just to keep from becoming a rank and file of the homeless. And so now I'm having to be bothered with worse neighbors of the likes of this kind, being the proverbial neighbors from damn hell, of midnight cowboys and spoofs that sit by the door, as these neighbors from damn hell are more creepier, you know. And as I think I have told you, or at least a few times in a few past or previous videos or social media broadcasts, and speaking about those matters. So anyway, regardless of where I'm at now, I'm trying to make the best of it. I'm not trying to cause any problems with anybody. Hopefully nobody attempts to cause any problems with me. However said, because I have what you call the itchy 911 emergency dialing fingers, to dial for the boys in blue. Not that mean one. I'm saying not that mean want to be considered as a trick, But if my life is in danger, I wouldn't waste a minute. I don't care what kind of riffraff be threatening me, my peace of mind, not to mention my life, That's including if any of them would be of the likes of the rank and file of dirty cops, for that matter. And here it is, the security guard there, back to the original topic of discussion. Now, he's like following me around in the store, like, well, in the bookstore. Like I said, right across the street from the main library in the downtown area, confusing me with one of the riffraff. Although he never brought it to me, he never said anything to me and so forth. He just follows me around through different aisles of the bookstore, and looks at me, like from a distance in my direction. Like, but then when I approach the counter to pay for my book, and then he walks away. He does that every time. I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, son of a, you know what, to put it mildly. Then that's what I've had to deal with just today, before I had come here where I'm at now for a library further south, more closer to home. Like, cause I'm way down there, much further south than where I'm at now. This is like within 40 something, 47, 48. It's close to 40. It's 4,700 block on the south side of the city of Chicago. And whereas I'm further south, no, I'm not so much as within the 6,300 block going south and between, State Street, Cottage Grove and King Drive, but I'm much more like somewhere in between, from from like say, uh, from the 4300 to the 6300. Fill in the blanks. I'm not trying to give any exact address because I have more than enough of my share of stalkers, like the Madonna stalker, and I don't need any more stalkers. Definitely, I don't need any stalkers. The gay persuasion, then who could be other likes of Black Sheeps, JWG's family or JD's family, JWG, John Wayne Gacy, or JD, Jeffrey Dahmer's. I don't need any more stalkers. And I have more than enough internet trolls to have to deal with, so I don't need any stalkers worse yet. As well as I don't need any more stalkers. What I'm trying to say, I'm trying to press. I'm trying to close out in due time because I'm pressing for time. I'm trying to get this out. I don't need any more stalkers as well as I don't need any more internet trolls. No, even so, I don't need more stalkers, and I don't need more crank callers. I need more crank callers and more stalkers. Crank callers and stalkers being worse than it. No, crank callers. My bad, correction. Crank callers are to be, practically in the same classification or category with, you know, internet trolls. So I said it correct the first time. I don't need any more stalkers, worse yet, of a more physical nature. Though crank callers and internet trolls can or could possibly become physical stalkers if they were to get the 411 on where you're at, where you're living, or where you hang out with family and friends. And I'm not trying to give any exact addresses, so I just thought I should share that with you all as some of us give more time. I'm about to close out now, and I guess I wanted to broadcast for a half an hour, but you know, like I said, sometimes walk the average length of time frame period for a social media broadcast of video for me is like half an hour. Sometimes, you know, it's lesser, sometimes it's longer, but I think I'm just gonna close out now. With this last note of interest, as I will usually give you all the basic intro as an introduction, then the accompanying footnotes, and last but not least, I would broadcast a social media video or whatever content as I believe in variety, positive note of interest, etc. But then last but not least, from there is what I mean to say, after I get all that other taken care of, I will close out by saying, so I paraphrase, if not quote exactly, and that is, if you haven't gotten Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, I will hope that you would think to do so now, while the blood is still running warm in your veins, by recognizing and realizing what He Himself had done or did upon the cross of Calvary on the hill of Golgotha, suffering at the hands of some sort of Roman soldiers up under orders of their superiors, religious, political, militaristic, and etc., especially the religious Pharisees and Sadducees of his day. But then nevertheless, when she went to that cross of Calvary, become the perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me. Don't steal my trademark physical gesture. I'm gonna have to copyright this sometime. So that, well, it's pretty much a comment before I do it. So that if any of us were to profess some such faith in Him, from there we become to be blessed in one regard or another, and more with one. First and foremost, with His salvation being, which is the only means by which anybody can or could possibly become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. Then second of all, with His deliverance. But first you have got to get His salvation, otherwise you have nothing coming. So far, the blessing is concerned. If you make that transition without that fire insurance against the lake of fire, damn hell, then your final destination will be hell, to be assembled with the rest of the unsaved, lost, damn human souls of unbelievers and unbelievers, to be tortured and terrorized by the devil and his demons forever, compared on to how we as believers in God, as in Christians, aka Protestants, not supposed to so-called Jehovah's Witnesses, not supposed to so-called Latter-day Saints or Catholics or any of those other members of false religions and religious cults. But as Christians, Protestants, we would be assembled together among ourselves in the kingdom of heaven as citizens thereof in the presence of God and His angels otherwise. You all take care and be safe, be blessed, not stressed, peace and love, joy and happiness, and it's a wrap. We out. Peace.